What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the True Mets Talk post-game show. Put it in the books. The New York Mets take game 1 versus the Colorado Rockies by a score of 7-6. It is never easy with this team. What is it about this team? This bullpen. They always want to make it an absolute nightmare for us fans. Wow. Anyways, Mets win. Good vibes on a Friday night, coming at you live on a Friday night. Rob is busy. He can't join me. He's a hardworking man. But you guys see, P has got you all covered with some Mets post-game coverage. This will be probably the last post-game for about a week on the channel. I am going on vacation, but let the good times roll. We are here to talk about a New York Mets win. Hit that thumbs up on this stream if you enjoyed the Mets post-game coverage. Let me know in the comments section, what are the vibes like? Friday night W in the black uniforms, Edwin Diaz in a game that I really was hoping we wouldn't be able to see Edwin Diaz in because the Mets had locked it down earlier. He ends up getting his number called. But you know what? A win's a win's a win. And the Mets take game 1. Quite simple. So I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for taking your time on a Friday night to be here with me. Woo! My goodness. My goodness. Deckman's got to go. Adrenaline junkies incoming. Pure adrenaline. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you all being here. Like I said, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up and hit the comments section. Who's the player of the game? I don't have the poll up in the live chat, but who is your player of the game? There are a lot of candidates for player of the game, especially this guy right here, right to my right, and Mr. Mark Vientos, who I will talk about more extensively here in just a second, because he was the one that got the Mets offense rolling today with that solo home run after the Mets had gone down 2-0. Wow. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Mets are rolling, no matter how they're getting it done. The simple fact of the matter is that they're getting it done. And that is the most important thing right now, is stacking W's, especially in this series right before the All-Star game. So let's take a look at the box score, and let's take a look at Mr. Sean Manaea, who had himself an absolutely phenomenal performance. That's back-to-back-to-back great starts for Sean Manaea. In this game, he goes 7 innings pitched, which doesn't happen frequently among this Mets rotation. We've been asking for it time and time and time again, and we finally get it with Sean Manaea. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs on those 2 home runs to Brendan Rodgers and Toglia. 9 strikeouts for Sean Manaea, ladies and gentlemen. 9 strikeouts. The put-away pitches were absolutely there. And what did Rob and I say on the pregame show in regards to Sean Manaea? When you are ahead in a pitcher's count, when you are ahead of a batter, do not be around the strike zone. Go after hitters. And that sweeper for Sean Manaea tonight, ladies and gentlemen, was working absolutely splendidly. 9 strikeouts, limited the walks, limited the free passes, and he goes past 100 pitches at 107 for his pitch count today. Absolutely tremendous performance. Hats off to Sean Manaea. An absolute gem of a signing for David Stearns and company this offseason. He's been absolutely phenomenal. ERA sitting at 3.46. And he provided the length. Listen, the bullpen didn't do its job today. He provided the necessary length for the Mets to be set up in a great position. In a position where they honestly really didn't need Edwin Diaz at the time that he came out of the ballgame. But we know what the Mets bullpen likes to do, especially as of recent. Jake Deckman, following up a tremendous performance last time out against the Washington Nationals with 2 key strikeouts against great hitters in that Nationals lineup in crunch time, follows up by allowing a home run, allowing a double, and only posting 1 out before the Mets had to bring in Phil Maton. Unacceptable. These are unacceptable performances. Phil Maton are going to cut him some slack. He didn't start the inning. He gives up the 2-run home run to make it 7-6, and he gets the subsequent couple outs. Great job by him. The home run we would like to not see, but you know what? It is what it is. This bullpen needs to figure out a way to stay afloat until this All-Star break. They're going to get some much needed rest. I wouldn't say much deserved rest, but much needed rest until the second half of the season approaches. So just want to shout out everybody in the chat here. Deckman got to go. We got Wacky in the chat. We got Cope in the chat. Daniel in the chat. All coming from Pure Adrenaline Sports. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. PAS in the house. Thanks for stopping by on the stream. Always got to support my fellow Mets fans. 100%. You do a great job in the in-game lives. If you all are on my channel, please go subscribe to Pure Adrenaline Sports. Does a great job over there with all the in-game live streams. Thank you for the support, and thank you for supporting the post-game shows here with myself and also with Rob, who can't join me tonight. All the other usual suspects here, B. Stearns, Darren, appreciate you all. Yes, this was an absolutely stressful game. Thor, you are saying it absolutely. Phew. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen. But a win's a win's a win. And we'll take it all day long. Salute to my guy, Carlos. Appreciate you. Easy's going after Edwin Diaz. Yeah, Edwin Diaz had a little bit of a hiccup there in the ninth inning. I'll cut him some slack. I agree. The walks need to tone down a little bit. But yeah. I mean, Sean Manaea was fantastic. I don't really know what else to say about Sean Manaea. He went out there and got the job done. The bullpen didn't. But you know who did get the job done? You know which collective unit got the job done? The offense, ladies and gentlemen, got the job done. This was a great game to watch if you are a fan of baseball on either side, whether you're a Rockies fan or whether you're a Mets fan. 9 collective home runs in this game, 5 by the Mets, 4 by the Rockies. It was a hit barrage. It was a home run parade. This is exactly what you like to see from the offensive perspective. You like to limit the home runs, and Sean Manaea surrendered to himself, but he kept it clean otherwise. And that's partly due to the walks. You see the BB right beside me there, only having 1 right next to it? That's how you limit damage outside of the home run ball, by not walking people. I think Jake Deckman can take a page out of Sean Manaea's book today. Same thing with Adam Ottavino, if and when he gets another opportunity. But ladies and gentlemen, Mets fans in this chat, first of all, appreciate you all being here. Like I said, whether you're coming over from Pure Adrenaline Sports or whether you have been rocking with me from the start here on the CPNYSports YouTube channel, make sure you hit that thumbs up. And if you are new here, make sure you're subscribing to the channel because we do all things New York Mets and New York Knicks. A lot of great content coming from the New York Knicks camp with Jalen Brunson and that extension. But this offense, let me get to it. I know I'm rambling. I tend to ramble if you're new here. I do ramble a lot. But wow, the power was on full display. I want to save the discourse surrounding Mark Vientos because my next slide is dedicated to Mark Vientos. So I'll talk about him after this. But how about Mr. OMG himself? First career multi-home run game. Harrison Bader as well with his second career multi-home run game. Mark Vientos gets the 5th home run, which was actually the first home run of the ball game, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. Jeff McNeil even gets a hit himself. He gets robbed of the second hit, but he's on the board with a hit. The bottom of the lineup carried this ball club today, from Vientos all the way down. And we always talk about it between Rob and myself, between the top half of the lineup versus the bottom half of the lineup. The bottom half of the lineup has done a tremendous job this season, whether it was Tyrone Taylor early in the season, whether it's been Harrison Bader all season long, who's having a career year himself. Now it's Jose Iglesias getting brought up and never looking back, along with his hit single OMG. Mark Vientos getting done dirty the first time he gets sent down. And then he's like, okay, when you guys call me right back up, which will be soon, as we saw with the Brett Beatty send down, you will see why the first time around was a mistake. And that's exactly what he is showing us. So we always talk about the top of the Mets order, Lindor, Nimmo getting it going. You see, JD Martinez was one strikeout away from a golden sombrero today with three strikeouts. Pete Alonso also still just looking a little bit lost to me at the plate. He's falling over. It just doesn't look like the Pete Alonso that we have come to know and love. But you know what? The theme of this Mets team and what's making this season so special and why these last couple of months have been so special as opposed to the first couple of months is that these guys pick each other up. And Rob said it perfectly in the pregame stream. If one guy doesn't do a job, you know the next guy's going to do the job. And if two guys don't do the job, you know the third guy will do the job. And the train just keeps on moving. And I like it. And the Mets, ladies and gentlemen, we came into this season asking for more power. We were thrilled when JD Martinez entered the picture because he hit 33 home runs in the previous season with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is something that this team has done night and day different than last season. Serious. I'm serious. The Mets are a top 5, I believe, team in the power category right now. And that's something that wasn't present in the first couple months of this season. I'm not talking about home runs in that aspect now. I'm talking about pure extra base hits, slugging percentage, OPS. I'm talking about gap to gap power, not just home run power. And now everybody top to bottom is producing in that category outside of probably Mr. Jeff McNeil. I see a lot of comments coming through here about Jake Deckman. Ethan, I know. Jake Deckman. This is a great win. I love to talk about Mets wins in a positive light. Jake Deckman is not a positive to take away from this game. I've acknowledged it a couple of minutes ago before you came in, presumably. I'll acknowledge it one more time, maybe even 2 more times before the stream is done. But I agree with you, Ethan. Can't rely on Jake Deckman. Can't rely on Adam Ottavino. Can't rely on Danny Young. This bullpen is just hanging on by a thread. But this offense isn't. This offense is consistently putting up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs. Enough, or what should be enough, to be comfortable leads. Now, they haven't been comfortable leads because the bullpen is doing what they're doing, which isn't a good thing. I'm not saying that in a good light. But yeah, you get what I'm talking about. So let me take a sip of water. Let me shout some people out in the chat. And then let's keep it rocking here. Like I said, it's going to be a very short post-game stream. The Rockies came into this series as one of the worst teams on the road. So I'm happy that that percentage for them on the road didn't get better because this is still a loss for them, even though it's a 1-run loss. But yeah, Mets get it done. Great victory. Let me shout some people out in the chat. Wow. Hopefully you all can hear me okay too. Hopefully I'm not coming in a little bit muffled, but appreciate you, NY Committee. Easy says he's worried about Diaz. We can talk about that a little bit later. Shout out to you, Ray. Explosive, Stony. Appreciate you. I was sweating bullets too, Stony. Don't you worry. Ethan, David, Frank, Jeremy, Oliver, Lane, Pantrice, B. Stearns, Thor, all of you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for rocking with me on a Friday night. Hit that thumbs up. Like I said, if you are new on the channel, I am actively working toward 900 subscribers on the channel. A little bit to go until that milestone is reached. If you all can help me out, that would be great. But as always, I'll keep reading comments aloud. I'll prop them up on the screen. I always do. Drop those comments in the live chat. Let's talk about our New York Mets, who are 3 games over 500. And depending on what happens, because I got my phone right beside me here. I'm also scoreboard watching a little bit. Kind of pathetic, I know, on July 12th, but I'm scoreboard watching because the St. Louis Cardinals are in action today. And they are currently losing to the Chicago Cubs 3-0 in the top of the 8th. And if the Cardinals hold on to lose this game, that would mean the New York Mets move in with them for a tie in the second wildcard spot in the NL. Can you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? Wow. What a turnaround for this New York Mets team. But no, seriously, I mean, hats off to Jose Iglesias. He's not usually one to show off the power, especially with the home runs. First career multi-home run game. You got to get the OMG going. I was doing this when he hit the first one and the second one. Harrison Bader. I got to tip my cap to Harrison Bader. First and foremost, Harrison Bader, you all know if you've been rocking with me, and I'm sorry, my hair is a mess. I apologize about that. If you all been rocking with me for quite some time on this channel, especially if you joined in here in 2024 and I was doing off-season coverage, especially in the early goings of 2024, I was not sold on Harrison Bader whatsoever. I'm going to have to just raise my hand and admit to that. I was not sold on Harrison Bader. He has proved me wrong and then some. And then some. And I couldn't be happier that he is proving me wrong. This guy's playing obviously above average defense, which is really what brought him in here in terms of the run prevention category up the middle in the eyes of David Stearns. And whatever he was able to produce coming into this season with his bat would have been a cherry on top. But ladies and gentlemen, this guy is providing offense, and he is absolutely carrying, might I add, that bottom of the order, especially before Jose Iglesias made this sort of, not resurgence, but made this sort of surge when he got called up. Jose, I feel you. The Mets need to have a 15-run lead in order to have an easy win because of the crappy bullpen. I understand that, and I hear you loud and clear. I think we are all on the same page. I can sit here and talk for an hour at the top of my lungs about how I am not happy with this bullpen. But we all understand that. David Stearns understands that there's work to be done in the bullpen. And work will be done, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry. But shout out to the bottom of the order in tonight's ball game. Shout out to them. Bader's more clutch than Alonso, David says. That's funny. I mean, it's true. With runners in scoring position, Pete Alonso's batting average right now was about 218 in the game. I'm not sure if that dipped or not, but yeah, no, I mean, right now, Harrison Bader, if you need a run batted in, right, in a clutch, crucial situation, not when the Mets are up 4 or 5 runs, Harrison Bader, you might, like, if you say you want Harrison Bader at the plate over Pete Alonso, I'm not sure anybody can really argue that at this very moment with what we've seen as the results come in 2024. I'm not sure anybody can argue that right now. I can't argue that. Yes, Daniel, I almost forgot about this little point here. Can we clap it up for Carlos Mendoza? Please, everybody, even if you're just sitting in front of your computer or your phone right now, join me. Maybe some clapping emojis in the chat. Clap it up for Carlos Mendoza. I love the energy. I love the passion. This is the most angry we've seen Carlos Mendoza all season long. And I'm not saying that I need a manager to consistently get thrown out and show me that kind of anger, but it's refreshing to see, especially when Steve Galebs got on the mic mid-game and said that this frustration was boiling all game long due to the home plate umpire's, apologies because I forget his name, his strike zone or lack thereof. And then when the Mets get hosed on a replay call, whether you think he was out or safe, etc., whatever, Tyrone Taylor stealing second base or trying to at least, Carlos Mendoza exploded. Tossed out of the game. John Gibbons is your manager for the rest of the game. I understand the bullpen kind of crapped the bed thereafter, but I like to see Carlos Mendoza showing some passion. It's refreshing. Carlos Mendoza has been a breath of fresh air. Yes, clap it up. Ricardo's clapping it up. NY Committee's clapping it up. B. Stearns is clapping it up. Frank's clapping it up. I love it. Clap it up for Carlos Mendoza, New York Mets manager, sorry. New York Mets manager. I almost got ahead of myself. I almost gave Mr. Carlos Mendoza a promotion. We got Kenny clapping it up. I love it. Keep the claps going. We got Jeremy clapping it up. D is clapping it up. Carlos is clapping it up. Yes. I love this energy, ladies and gentlemen. This is the energy I'm bringing on a Friday night because you know what? The New York Mets are on a roll, and they deserve this energy from us fans. They deserve it. And you know what? We deserve it too. As Mets fans, we deserve this energy. So why not show it? Why not show it? Shout out to the offense. Mets improved to 48 and 45. Continuously have the scoreboard up and running here, watching this Cardinals game. They are on Apple TV Plus tonight on a Friday night. Hopefully that final score holds through, and we're watching the Mets climb the NL wild card category. 9 strikeouts, that's right, D, for Mr. Sean Manaea. Absolutely. All right. Let's give a little bit of love to Mark Vientos here, because I'm not sure if you all caught what Mr. Gary Cohen said on the broadcast today, but among qualified hitters, the only player around the league that has a higher slugging percentage than Mark Vientos' 572, which I believe dipped to 569. Fact check me, I might be a couple percentage points off. The only player with a higher slugging percentage than Mark Vientos, yes, the New York Mets third baseman Mark Vientos, is Shohei Ohtani, ladies and gentlemen. The only one. Can we take a step back and realize what this kid is doing right now? Mr. Mark Vientos. Can we clap it up for Mark Vientos? We just clapped it up for Carlos Mendoza. Let's clap it up for Mark Vientos. 299 on the season. Over 350 OBP. Slugging percentage, I just told you, is second best, only behind Shohei Ohtani. 922 OPS. 12 home runs. I had someone prior to this season starting, I had somebody tell me that Mark Vientos wouldn't even hit 10 home runs. You better believe I bookmarked that tweet in a response to one of my previous tweets that predicted Mark Vientos at 22 home runs for the season. And I called it out. And 33 RBIs here as we are approaching this All-Star break. Mark Vientos, ladies and gentlemen, has been probably the most consistent Mets hitter this entire season. If I came into this season and told you that Mark Vientos would be our most consistent hitter, most consistent over a JD Martinez, over a Francisco Lindor, over a Brandon Nimmo, over a Pete Alonso, you would have called me crazy. I would have called myself crazy because I wasn't sure what to expect from Mark Vientos. I knew that he was going to have a good season, but nobody, not even the Mark Vientos believers, foresaw what we see right here. No chance. Mark Vientos is an absolute stud. I was wrong on a lot of my opinions on Mark Vientos. One thing that I will say is that I thought he was going to be the everyday DH for the New York Mets prior to the JD Martinez signing. I never thought that he would have won the third baseman job. And he didn't because Brett Baty was the starter. But we know who's here now, and that's Mark Vientos. And it would be a disservice to the New York Mets organization and to Mark Vientos himself if I didn't dedicate a whole slide to him and these statistics that he's putting up this season right now on this stream. So I went ahead and did it. Because he deserves his flowers. 2 for 3 tonight. Got the Mets rolling early with the home run, his 12th of the season, his 32nd RBI at that time before he got another RBI in the game. 2 RBIs on the game, and he's absolutely rolling. Yes, he's made his mistakes, his fair share of mistakes at third base. Yes, the footwork at third base can get better. Has it gotten better exponentially from what we saw last season? Yes. Can it still get better? Yes. But all the tools that you would want are there. The arm strength is there. The bat and all the tools with the bat are there. You talk about opposite field power, and we are always applauding JD Martinez for his prowess in terms of hitting the ball the other way. Mark Vientos, probably taking a page out of JD Martinez's book, is making that a staple of his game. This is something that he is showing maturity beyond his years at the plate with his bat right now. It's absolutely mesmerizing to watch. I would have never thought that we would see this type of production outside of the home runs. I'm talking about consistent production outside of the home runs from Mark Vientos. So I had to talk about him real quick. I had to go on a little bit of a rant about Mark Vientos. Absolute props are due. Hit that thumbs up on this stream if you haven't done so already. We got about 74 people rocking with me here live. Whether you're on X or YouTube, that number is all encompassing. Hopefully, a lot more people catch this on the replay, whether it's tonight to close out your Fridays. I hope everybody's having a great Friday, by the way. I'm having a great Friday. My vacation starts tomorrow, so I apologize in advance if I'm a little quiet. Maybe I'll hop in on a pregame or a postgame if Rob's hosting one during the next week. But you better believe as soon as I'm back, next Friday, the following Friday, it's a 1-week vacation. I'll be right back to the content. So don't you all go anywhere. Appreciate you all rocking with me. Keep subscribing to the channel and get me to 900 subscribers, please. And thank you. Drop those comments in the live chat as well. Let's take a look at those live chat comments. Great Friday. Mets win. Absolutely 100%. Yeah, Thor, if we had lost this game, whew, it would have been a little bit of a different tune here that I'm singing on this post game. You better believe that. Got Explosive in the chat. Appreciate you. Let's see. Marky V from Carlos. Alvarez definitely deserves his love too. Absolutely. But what Alvarez is doing and what his contributions are to this team are more so defensively. I'm not saying he's not contributing offensively, but nobody is contributing offensively as well right now, minus maybe Brandon Nimmo and Francisco Lindor, as Mark Vientos is for this team right now. Insane to think about. NY committee is clapping it up for Mark Vientos. Oliver's clapping it up for Mark Vientos. Ray's clapping it up for Mark Vientos. Yeah, he is our third baseman 100%. 100%. And this is a lot of people, Thor. There's no shame in this. A lot of people weren't big on Mark Vientos. I was fine with rocking with him at the DH. I was. I knew what his bat possessed. I knew he was going to strike out more than a lot of people would have liked, but I know in turn we would have saw some other features of his bat that would have made him a viable DH. But never in a million years, like I just said, I would have envisioned him at this point of the season being the New York Mets starting third baseman. And he proved everybody wrong, not just you, Thor, but myself as well. So lump me into that category. Appreciate you all being here. Truly a pleasure to talk about this team. Hopefully you all are enjoying the post-game content. If you are enjoying the post-game content, let me know in the chat. Let me know by hitting that thumbs up. All that good stuff. All that good stuff. Did he really? I didn't see this. So apparently D's saying Alvarez threw the ball hard back to Diaz, saying, get your shit together. That's a true leader, man. I'm telling you, I'm not sure. I didn't see this, so I'm not going to take this as fact. I trust your word, but I won't take it as fact until I see it myself. I will go on Twitter and look at it. Maybe they have an angle of it. Maybe they don't. But that's what a true leader does. You can tell Alvarez is a general behind that plate because he knows even if it has to be tough love, it is what it is. It's all hugs in the dugout. But when you step in between those lines, and in Alvarez's case, behind the batter's box, right in front of the umpire, it's wartime. It's like going and putting your best foot forward out there with 8 of your teammates. Looks like my mic lost connection. Can you all hear me? This is a test. This is a test. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? I apologize. The mic cut out. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me or not. Ricardo says I'm muted. Jeremy says, oh, okay, you can hear me. All right, there we go. I apologize. Technical difficulties, they run very rampant, apparently, with my technology, which I'll be upgrading here soon. All right, we're good. Yeah, guys, listen. The offense showed up. Mark Vientos has showed up. The bullpen didn't, and it is what it is at this point. This is the makeup of the New York Mets right now. And we just have to accept the fact for what it is. The offense will provide the runs. The starting rotation will hold their own. I trust in Sean Manaea to hold his own. I trust in Severino to hold his own. I trust in Christian Scott to hold his own. David Peterson, he's earning my trust a little bit, but I still have some questionable thoughts on him on a day-to-day basis. Miguel, you can't trust. Quintana, I'm still learning to trust a little bit as well with his recent success. But you get it. You get my spiel. I trust this rotation more or less. But the bullpen is something that this team is going to have to figure out and fast. And I'm not speaking any sort of rocket science right now. You all know this. If anybody watches this team consistently on a day in and day out basis, you know that this bullpen needs work. But you would also be kidding yourself if you thought for 1 second that this front office, Steve Cohen and David Stearns, also didn't know that this bullpen needs help. So they're working on it. They're working on it. And I'm going to trust them to bring in the proper guys. Yes, Deckman's trash. I'm sorry. I don't like to call players trash, but Deckman is not it. I'll say the same thing about Adam Ottavino. He's not it until further notice. I go based off of trends. I don't go based off of 1 or 2 bad outings. These are consistent bad outings, and they are bad outings not only in high leverage situations, which Carlos Mendoza has mitigated by putting both of these guys in low leverage situations, but these are bad outings with walks and just general hits, home runs, however the opposition scores runs off these 2 guys, and Adam Ottavino and Jake Deckman, in situations where they have no business giving up walks. These are 4, 5, 6-run leads that they are not able to get the job done. So listen, I understand this bullpen is undermanned. Drew Smith's gone. Brooks Raley's gone. Jorge Lopez was DFA'd. I understand the circumstances here. But if the Mets are going to be serious about making and maintaining this playoff push, because right now they are a playoff team, and that is the bar and that is the expectation that most of us Mets fans had, and so did David Stearns coming into this season. And they're going to have to reproduce a playoff caliber bullpen. You can't account for injuries at the beginning of the season. I really thought the bullpen depth was great that David Stearns has set up, but that's been depleted now. It's time to restack that bullpen. And that's what's going to happen over the course of the next couple of weeks. Trust Stearns, as Frankie says. Frankie, I know we disagreed about the Michael Conforto point. I know you don't want Michael Conforto back, which I would gladly take Michael Conforto back as a lefty bench bat. Same thing with Jesse Winker, just 2 names to give you all. I know you're not on board with me there, but I appreciate that you're on board with trusting David Stearns. That's what matters the most. So salute to you. Ricardo saying bullpen for me is Diaz, Nunez, Buto, and pray for rain with the rest of them. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I trust Hauser. Hauser has my trust. Has he been losing it a little bit? Yeah. But he's been all in all better at the very minimum out of the bullpen. I trust in him. Phil Maton, I mean, the jury is still out on him. We'll see. But yeah, there we go. Live game update. 5-0 Cubs in the 8th inning. I love it. It's looking more and more like the Mets are going to be tied with the Cardinals for the second wild card. Can we take a step back and just absolutely envision how we were talking about this team? Rob, myself, other Mets content creators that you all are subscribed to. What the vibes were like on stream, on podcast episodes about this team 2.5 months ago versus how we're talking about them right now. And the thing is about it is that everybody was not naive to the fact that baseball is 162 games. Anybody that watches baseball, whether you come up on here on camera and make these videos or not and do these live streams or not, we all understand it's 162 games and anything can happen and a run can happen at any point. Because even when the Mets were doing poorly, when they started off 0-5 on the season, they had a tremendous run there, right? And they got themselves back in it very early on in the season. So runs happen, and we saw it already with the Mets previously to this hot stretch. But it was looking like it was rock bottom there for a second. Can we just be real about that fact? And it wasn't just the results of the losses, although that is what judges, that's the barometer that a lot of fans judge a good team versus a bad team is the win-loss record. They were just playing uninspired baseball. If you watch them taking the field, taking at bats, the vibe in the dugout, it was dead. It was absolutely lifeless. Players only meeting happens. You get Jose Iglesias call up. You get Grimace. You get the OMG sign. You get whatever celebration this is with the Mets hitters after they hit a double or get a hit in general. You get this with the OMG. I mean, what are we doing here? It's night and day different from the vibes perspective, not only just the wins and losses. And that's the major difference because it seems like they actually want to take the field with one another and play alongside each other, and not just alongside each other, for each other. And that's what myself and Rob were talking about during that bad stretch. It didn't look like they wanted to be out there plain and simple, and the vibe has changed. So, yeah, that's my rant about that. That's my rant about that. Anyways, we should be celebrating great baseball because guess what? We got to win today. But what do we always say? Especially for this Mets team and these Mets players, it's one game at a time. You got the win tonight. You celebrate however you want to celebrate. Maybe go back if you're a Mets player, even a Mets fan, have some beer, have some wine, however you choose to kick back and relax on your Friday night, whatever. You got to come back out the next day, take the field, and take another game because you got game 2 of this series, and it's the second to last game before the All-Star break commences. Here are your game 2 probables. It's Christian Scott going for the New York Mets versus Ryan Feltner. Christian Scott is 0-2 with the 4.15 ERA, as opposed to Ryan Feltner's 1-8 win-loss record with a 5.29 ERA. I really am curious to see how the Mets utilize Christian Scott in this start. We all know the debacle that happened in Pittsburgh during Christian Scott's last outing. He went 5 2/3, 77 pitches, was on a predetermined pitch limit, and all the wheels came falling off as soon as he exited the ballgame. And that started with Eric Orsi, who's also, by the way, got recalled with David Peterson hitting the paternity list just before today's game. So one thing that I want to see with Christian Scott is his command. That four-seam fastball as well, if you look at the Savant page, that's the pitch that is getting him touched up. Hitters are hitting 241 off of his fastball as opposed to like 148 on his sweeper/slider. I guess he has a sweeper and a slider, which I'm like, how do you even differentiate that? I guess the slider has a tighter break than the sweeper. And you all can watch that as well tomorrow because they were talking about it on the last broadcast. And I believe Jerry Blevins was talking about it. But I'm curious to see how the New York Mets handle Christian Scott with the innings limit or the pitch count, or both, whatever they determine, especially as we head into break. Maybe they decide that he's not on a pitch count because he gets an extended break after this start. Or maybe he's still hard capped at 75 to 80 pitches tomorrow. We don't know. I'm very curious. This is a unique situation. Obviously, he got sent back down prior to the London series. I wasn't a fan of that move, but it happened. He came back up a couple weeks later. First start out, I believe, was against the Nationals. Overused a little bit, I guess, although I was perfectly fine with him being out there. And then he gets the pitch count limit in his second outing since being called back up. So very curious. If you're a Mets fan, please watch tomorrow how they decide to utilize Christian Scott. I'm hoping that I can tune into the game. I'll be on the road, but I'm hoping that I can at least listen to the game because I always enjoy a Christian Scott start. He's got electric stuff, 95-mile-per-hour fastball. The movement and the life on the slider is great. It's about honing in on his command, and he's got all the rest of the tools to make him successful at this level of baseball, at the major league level. So very excited. Again, there's no Mets pitcher, or there's no opposing pitcher, excuse me, that the Mets lineup should be fearful of. If you hit the Dylan Ceases, Shota Imanagas, Garrett Coles of the world, you're not scared of your Tanner Gordons or your Ryan Feltners of the world. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter on what side of the spectrum of talent you are as an MLB pitcher. This lineup is clicking on all cylinders, and they should be able to get to any pitcher because they are taking productive, aggressive, and methodical at-bats right now. And that's something that when they were playing poor baseball, they were not doing. And I'm proud of them for making the adjustment. Very proud. So there you have it. That would be it for the post-game stream. Just about 42, going on 43 minutes. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Tried to keep it as lively as possible. Not going to lie, batting a little bit of a sore throat right now, so it's kind of hurting my voice. So that's why I'm going to cap it under an hour on the post-game. Was going solo tonight. Obviously, Rob can't make it on the stream. Always try to do streams when I can, whether it's pregame or postgame, schedule permitting. Pre-recorded episodes will be dropping one at some point, talking about a couple of trade targets, offensive and I guess defensive / pitching wise for the New York Mets with the upcoming deadline. That's probably going to release after my upcoming week-long vacation, so stay tuned. Hit that notifications button. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't on this stream. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're interested, check out the channel memberships on the home page of this channel. And I just can't thank you all. Oh, and by the way, usually live tweeting games and posting snippets of these streams on my social media at CPNYSports, both on X and Instagram. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all so much for the support on the channel. Each and every one of you all. Always love giving you all shout outs on the stream. Everybody. Yeah, I'm on a minutes count right now. I'm not going to lie. I'm struggling to get through this stream, and I'm having to sip my water because my voice is just hoarse right now. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the kind words. Carlos, Thor, Darren, Frank, Oliver, Jeremy, Ray, David, D, everybody. NY Committee, Frankie. I mean, if I went up and down the list, Stoney, who's not here, he went to bed, but even Stoney, thank you all so much. I appreciate the support. It really does mean a lot. Until the next time, the Mets are rolling. Let the good times roll. Ride the wave. Is it official yet with the Cardinals game? Are we officially tied for a second wild card spot or not yet before I end this stream? No. Top 9, 5-0 Cubs. All right. That will be happening shortly, hopefully. It's your boy CP. These are our New York Mets. And this was the True Mets Talk post-game show. Until next time, see you all when I see you. hit the notifications button. Don't miss any content. Tell your friends, tell your family if they are Mets fans or Knicks fans to hit that subscribe button. Catch you on the flip side. See you all later. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.
Thank you for watching the True Mets Talk podcast. Make sure you're tapping on that notifications button and checking out all the latest content on the channel.